So, hello, if you found this review, then you, like me, probably spend a lot of time outdoors, which is why you're interested or maybe you're just looking for dirt on the Garmin InReach Mini, which, if you bought it already, if you're thinking about it, if you're thinking about buying this, you're thinking about buying it for the same reason that I bought it, which is that I want to be able to get in touch with my loved ones when I'm out in the woods, and I'm out in the woods a lot. So it seems like a pretty good idea. And what I liked about it, is that they advertise it as using the Iridium satellite network, which gives it that cachet of, satellite phone. And we always think of satellite phones as being that thing that always works in disaster zones. So we're like, cool, I'm going to have a way of sending text messages that pairs with my phone and works as well as a satellite phone, and I can send a text message to my significant other whenever I want. My only complaint about the InReach Mini is that it doesn't do that. It doesn't succeed at the one thing it's supposed to do, which is send a message to my significant other when I can't get cell phone service. And I mean, it kind of works, but here's the thing. I've sent messages using it, and sometimes they don't arrive until like 3 hours after I send them, because it turns out that the devil is in the details and it's in the fine print. And so it may take it a while to get through a queue where it sends the message, and that's assuming that it even has a clear view of the sky, which isn't always. And if you live in the Pacific Northwest like me, you're under tree cover a lot. So having something that needs a perfectly crystal clear view of the sky, suddenly it's not a useful device anymore. Like, that I'm always under trees. If you're recreating in the Pacific Northwest, you're under trees, duh. But so I guess if you're gonna get hurt and there's an emergency and you need help right away, don't do it in the forest. I don't know. Anyway, so that's complaint number one. Complaint number two is it's I guess what I should have complained about first is the price. It's $25 a month, which, if it works, is worth it. For $25 a month, you get like 40 text messages a month, and you get unlimited tracking points, where it sends tracking points to whoever you tell it to, whoever has a link to their website, and they can see a breadcrumb trail of where you're at. And that's pretty cool, except for the fact that it doesn't reliably send the message to the person. And I don't know why. Sometimes I've sent a message on it 5 minutes later, the person, my significant other, he gets the message, everything's cool. Other times, he doesn't get it at all. And then 2 days later, I send a message again when I'm on a different ride, and he gets 7 messages, and some of them are repeated. And this is just in keeping with everything else I've seen with Garmin products, which is that they're never ready for prime time. It's like Garmin hired a really good marketing team and sort of phoned it in with the engineering and then said, where's the part where you guys pay us? Like, they're really good on the revenue side, like getting money and taking over companies and figuring out how to make money, but they're not very good on the delivering services side, like providing you a service for the money that you're paying for. This is a $300 toy. And if it doesn't send a message out till an hour after I send it, what good is it? What good is it? The attraction to a device like this, whether explicit or not, is that I can send a message to my significant other when I'm still at the trailhead, when I'm an hour away from cell phone service, and say, hey, ETA 7:30, or I'm on my way home, or we were delayed, or whatever else was going on, and any number of things. But in the case of this, it may take an hour. So what good is that? In an hour, I'll be back at the freeway, and I'll be able to send the message over the much more reliable cell phone network anyway. So what have I gained by spending $25 a month on this? Furthermore, the SOS part of it does not inspire. So if it can't even send a simple text message out in a timely fashion, what reason do I have to believe that its SOS is going to be reliable? That does not inspire confidence. And this is kind of, again, another thing that fits in with Garmin is that as a company, I've had some of their other products, and they all have these, like, we call them the you had one job moments. Like, you had one job that you had to not fail at. That's it. And you failed at that one job. And in the case of their mapping devices, it's things like it stops tracking in the middle of your track. And it's like you literally have one job and you can't do it as well as my cell phone that has 1,000 different jobs. And you can't do your one job. In the case of this, it's one job is to send a text message to somebody in a timely fashion when I can't get cell phone service. Otherwise, it's no better than my cell phone, which is pointless. Totally pointless. You know, and I have here, let me grab you an alternative piece of technology that's actually more reliable for emergency response. So this is a personal locator beacon. Now, I bought this about 3 years ago. I'm gonna have to replace the battery in it sometimes, I think in another couple of years. And what this does is it sends a one-way signal. So it sends a signal to a global constellation of satellites at a lower frequency, so it's more likely to get through the trees, and at 5 watts instead of a half a watt like this. So with 10 times the power, this sends a signal out, and it's a beacon. It's like the one that they use for airplanes and boats too. If you get in a plane crash, you'll find this in the crash kit, and you're supposed to deploy it. So it also floats, unlike this, which doesn't float, but okay. Anyway, but the only drawback is you can't text back and forth. So the reason that I decided to augment this much more reliable beacon, because you actually register this through NOAA, through the Weather Service. The reason I bought this was that I was thinking, hey, I'll be able to text back and forth with my rescuers. But I don't know, Garmin, it can't even send a message reliably to my significant other. Why should I believe that it's going to work to send a message to rescue services? Should I trust this? Should I? Also, sometimes it just like the way that it eats through the battery just on, that's another thing. It's a rechargeable battery. This is not. This is, you send this in every 5 years and have them replace the battery. So it's always ready to go. The idea is, it's like worst case scenario device. So maybe you should, I don't know, maybe you should have both. But just going out of the forums, it looks like I'm not the only one who has the problem, who is having these same problems with this. So you know what I can recommend about this? It's small. It's small. It's cute. Otherwise, I don't know. All I can tell you is if you're thinking about getting this, don't. The subscription plan is not worth it. And it's not reliable enough. I think you're better off getting one of these, a real rescue beacon, and just take your chances. Because just take your chances that the rescue crew is going to show up with the right equipment, because really? It blows my mind that Garmin is this incompetent. And it's just incompetence. If it's not incompetence, then it's malfeasance. Either way, it's not a good look. I mean, look, it's orange. That's a safety color. They sell it with pictures of people getting rescued, and they show people like sending messages to each other, and in concerned faces at home, being happy to receive messages from their loved ones. But it doesn't actually work. It's all just marketing hype. This is a $300 paperweight. Because it's not reliable. And reliable, Garmin, if you're listening, which you're not, but if you are, reliable means works every time. Not 80% of the time, not 60% of the time. So far, my success rate on this is 45% of the time. That's dismal. On anything that has to work all the time, 98% is considered a failure. Let alone your dismal 45% success rate at doing your one job to send a message and get it there in a timely fashion. So my recommendation, don't buy this. Buy this instead. Oh yeah, and one more thing, don't forget to support my Patreon at patreon.com/voiceover trails. Usually I do trail reviews, but every now and then I do product reviews that have something directly to do with trails, and I think these do have directly to do with trails. So the more you do to help support my channel, the more of these reviews I can do, and the more I can be objective, because I am obviously not being sponsored by anybody. But I'm definitely not being sponsored by Garmin, nor would I accept their sponsorship, because they have not demonstrated to me that they're a responsible company. So anyway, remember, like, subscribe, share, click click that notification button, all the things that they tell you to do at the end of YouTube videos. Actually, you can also dislike the video if you want, because dislikes actually are engagement too. So engage with the video in any way whatsoever, and it helps me get my message out there, or it helps me get out there. So thanks for watching. Don't get a Garmin, get a personal locator beacon instead, and I will see you next time.